Welcome back to the Saving Sally channel. I am Jason, and this is another episode of Carticulate. And if you're a first-time viewer, Carticulate is a series where we talk about cars and car culture and maybe car news. Android Auto and Apple Carplay have become a pretty big part of car culture. And I think it would make pretty big news if an automaker said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take that option away from you and remove Android Auto and Apple CarPlay from our vehicles. Now, if you haven't heard the news, General Motors is claiming that they are going to remove Android Auto and Apple CarPlay from at least some of their electric vehicles. But they say, don't worry about it. We're going to put in a system that's even better. And people are not happy about it. When I was doing some research for this story, I couldn't find a single person who thought this was a good idea. So I'm in that camp. I don't think this is a good idea at all. In fact, this feels like there was a video some years ago of a dumpster that was floating down a street while on fire during a flood. So this is a floating dumpster fire in a flood. I drove this vehicle specifically to do this video because I am in a fairly high trim GM vehicle that is quiet enough on the inside that it allows me to do this video. I chose this vehicle to show you, GM. I am your customer, and I am telling you I am not happy with your direction. I don't think I would buy a car that didn't have Android Auto. I just don't think that I would. Give you a little bit more of an explanation into that. I have a heating and air business. I drive, in my service vehicle, it's not unusual for me to put 60,000 miles a year on that vehicle, and that's a lot of driving. That's a lot. And that does not include my personal vehicle and the other driving that I would do there. So the idea that you would take away something that's become so integral into the way that I do business would just drive me to go look at the Ford dealership. Maybe I will go look at the Ram dealership. I certainly won't look at a vehicle that doesn't have it. GM is kind of tight-lipped about a lot of this, and what they haven't said, I think, has created a lot of speculation because there's just a lot of questions. And we're going to go through what I think is the most likely scenario in a moment, but we'll first talk about what General Motors said, and I'm just paraphrasing, but the initial claim was, well, we just think Android Auto is dangerous. We think that it drives people back onto their phones, and it's a safety issue. So for that reason, we are going to pull Android Auto off of these vehicles, but hey, don't worry. It's for your benefit, and we're going to make a system that's even better. The problem that I have with that is twofold. Well, it's a lot. There's a lot of problems I have with that. If it's really a safety issue, and you really believe you want me to buy that, what you need to do is make your heads-up display standard in all your vehicles, because wouldn't that make things safer for the road? But they're not going to do that. Of course, that's going to remain very high-trim vehicles only. But then they came back and they realized that there was a little bit of a backlash from that response, that explanation, and they had a response to that was a little bit more tailored. And what they said this time was, well, yeah, it's still safety, but this time we want you to know that it's also about the better driving experience. For example, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto won't know the condition of your vehicle's battery. So what we would like to have is a system that if you've navigated a route and it knows how much battery life you have, maybe it changes the route to include some charging stations along the way. And in fact, if you tell it you're headed to a charging station, maybe it optimizes the vehicle's driving conditions to get the battery to just the right temperature so that it takes a charge a little faster, and you would have a better driving experience that way as well. So that's why we're going to do this. And that's a little bit more, it makes more sense. It makes more sense than the safety thing. But here's my problem with that. I'm using the navigation system as we speak to go to an event that I'm 30 minutes late for. And what's happening is I've got a map displayed on my in-dash screen, and immediately to the right of the map, there is also displayed a suggestion for me to try Spotify. So I don't see any reason why I couldn't still use Android Auto and have a separate, smaller screen making suggestions to me. Reminder, hey, you need to charge your battery or whatever the case may be. The idea that GM is going to take away my option to use Android Auto feels a little bit like they know no one wants to use their product. My built-in bull hockometer says, no, this is a money grab. And this is another thing that GM has not come out and said, at least not that I could find. But the only way this works is if you have some sort of data in your vehicle. Because at least one source that I saw said, but don't worry, we're going to include Google Maps in our system as well. I have a feeling that they're going to want you to subscribe to their monthly data plan, much like OnStar. And then that brings a whole other host of questions. Will it be unlimited data? Probably not. I imagine there will be a low-tier package and a top-tier package and probably a couple of different things in between. What if I want to listen to podcasters? Real-time traffic updates is super important. You know, maybe a free service that I can get on Android Auto is now a paid service through this GM system. I'm not certain. You know, another concern that I have with this is the privacy. The last thing that I want is for General Motors to be managing my text messages, for General Motors to be managing my navigation habits. Maybe someone who has frequent visits to a medical facility, and suddenly you find yourself being advertised all kinds of, you know, take our new drug with a weird name commercials. So you get where I'm going here. I feel like this is just another tool that they could have to target me and my family with junk mail and silly advertisements that I don't want to see. And more than that, selling that information to third parties is a concern. I'm just going to tell you right now, if General Motors says it's all about safety, they need to leave Apple CarPlay there, because if I'm in a vehicle that doesn't have it, and maybe I didn't pay for the data, or maybe I did, I just don't like their system, I'm going to use the phone anyway. I'm going to use it anyway. Mercedes decided it would be a good idea to offer these electric vehicles and tell everyone how fast they were and how much people were going to like them, but then also tell you, but it's only going to be fast if you pay us $1,200 a year to unlock the full potential of the vehicle. So you've purchased the vehicle. Everything is there. All the parts are there. The hardware is in your possession. But if you want them to take the training wheels off, you're going to have to pay a monthly fee for that. And then that didn't go over well. There was a pretty big backlash to that. And so BMW decided, well, you guys just didn't do it right. $100 a month is too much. We're going to do it again and show you how it's done. They said, here's you a nice BMW, and it has heated seats. But, I mean, if you want to use those heated seats, that's going to be $12 a month. And that also didn't go over well at all. And then Toyota tried this game as well, where they said, hey, you like your remote start feature? You're going to need to pay us a monthly fee for that. And as you probably guessed, that didn't go over well. And so now what's happened is General Motors is saying, hold my quart of oil. I want to, one, tell what little audience that I have about it. I also want to encourage my audience to voice their concerns about it, because things like commenting on this video, things like posting about it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever your social media of choice would be, can make a topic trend upward. Google tracks search results. Google tracks internet trends, and companies like General Motors, I promise you, they follow these things as well. And if you can get it to be so unpopular on the internet, there's a possibility that GM will have a look at this and say, you know what, maybe we ought to backpedal off of that and offer both options. And I would be happy with that. If you want me to consider using your option, build a better option. If it's better, I'll use it. I don't think it will be, but if you do, if you manage to pull it off, people will use it. People will try it out. So the idea that you would take away our choice is pretty telling about your own faith and your ability to create a better product. No one believes your story. No one says, oh, you have my safety in mind, and that's why you're going to take this away. Nobody believes that. It's pretty clear what's going on. This is a money grab, whether it be through selling my data or just charging me for data that I have to pay you to make these systems work, or both. No one believes what you're doing is for our benefit. I'm not mad at you for trying to make money. That's what a business does. That's what I try to do. My business isn't a charity. I try to make money too. I at least feel like I give my customers options. You know, I don't come at them and take away what really might be in their best interest just so that I can sell them something that's more profitable. And I think that that's exactly what you're doing. It doesn't sit well with me. And I get a feeling from the forums and all the discussions that I've seen on this on the internet, most folks out there are ready to grab their torches and pitchforks. They don't believe you either. Guys, just stop it. Put the fire out and let's pull the dumpster out of the flooded street. If you have an opinion on it, please, like I said before, let me know down in the comments about that. If you haven't subscribed already, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel. It would help me grow as a channel. And last of all, I hope to see you on the next one. And until next time, this is Jason with Saving Sally, and this has been another episode of Carticulate.